Why did President Biden suggest that Kyle Rittenhouse, on trial in Kenosha, is a white supremacist?
So, Peter, what I'm not going to speak to right now is anything about an ongoing trial, nor the president's past comments. What I can reiterate for you is the president's view that we shouldn't have, broadly speaking, vigilantes patrolling our communities with assault weapons. We shouldn't have opportunists corrupting peaceful protests by rioting and burning down the communities they claim to represent anywhere in the country. As you know, closing arguments in this particular case, which I'm not speaking to, I'm just making broad comments about his own view. There's an ongoing trial. We're awaiting a verdict. Beyond that, I'm not going to speak to any individuals or this case.
But the president has spoken to it already. And his mom now, Kyle Rittenhouse's mom, came out saying that the president defamed her son, and that she claims that when the president suggested her son is a white supremacist, he was doing that to win votes. Is that what happened?
I just have nothing more to speak to an ongoing case where the closing arguments were just made. Go ahead.
Given the National Guard is on standby, though, in Wisconsin right now, Jen, does the White House or the President have any message to those who may stir up trouble, regardless of the outcome at the end of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial?
Well, I can give you a little bit of an update that we're in contact, the White House is in contact with state officials at the request of community leaders. The Department of Justice's Community Relations Service has provided trainings on de-escalation and contingency planning to local community organizations, and they're prepared to provide any further assistance that is needed. But, our message, I would say, is that President Biden ran on a promise to bring Americans together and to turn down the temperature on the angry, divisive rhetoric and actions we saw over the past 4 years. That's his overarching objective. It doesn't mean that he doesn't understand. Of course he does. When emotions are high, when passions are high, we're here to provide support. And obviously we're going to wait for any verdict to come out. And beyond that, certainly we are hopeful that any protest will be peaceful.
Broadly on the state of America right now, inflation obviously at a 31-year high right now. Americans are seeing their dollars, their paychecks stretched right now. Why should Americans not be concerned that injecting another $1.75 trillion or more would further raise inflation?
Because no economist out there is projecting that this will have a negative impact on inflation. And actually, what it will help do is will help increase economic productivity. It will help economic growth in this country. That and the Build Back Better agenda will help reduce inflation, will help cut costs for the American people over the long term.
As you acknowledge, that's over the long term. So I guess for those Americans who are really struggling with the bottom line right now, what is the president doing now, like immediately, to try to directly impact the rising costs that Americans are witnessing?
Well, the number one thing that the president can do is help get COVID under control. That we know is the root cause of inflation and the price increases we're seeing for a range of reasons. That is the best step that he can take, that the administration can take to help get it under control. I'd also note, though, in many of his proposals, but his Build Back Better agenda that is currently working its way through Congress, and we're eager for the House to pass this week, there are a number of components in there that will lower costs next year for the American people, cutting child care costs in half, making preschool free for families starting in 2022, saving families $8,600, leading to the construction of additional housing units. We're seeing housing and the cost of rent as a major driver of costs for families across the country. And even on issues like negotiating prescription drugs, there are people across the country that are paying a lot of money out of pocket for insulin. It will cap the cost at $35. The president has a plan for lowering costs for the American people. No one is denying that inflation and any element of raising costs is an issue for the American people. The question is, what are the solutions? We're proposing solutions. In the short term, we have to continue to get COVID under control. In the medium and long term, we want to pass this agenda, which economists will tell you, including Nobel laureates, this will help address inflationary issues over the long term. Go ahead.